Hello and welcome to Ron Whitlock Reports. We're at the offices of Sam L. Susser, who's the president of Stripes, and we're here to talk to you today because you kind of have the capability, by virtue of the fact that you are the president of Stripes, so you're a businessman, you employ over 8,500 people. Under you as president, you have 562 stores, Stripes operations in the state of Texas and around the nation. But also you're involved in healthcare. You've been involved with not only yourself, but your family on the board and the foundation of Driscoll Children's Hospital. So you have a healthcare component. You have an understanding of that, which is unique to many business people. And you're extremely passionate, Sam, about education. UT grad and very much involved in a lot of organizations that promote education, not only at the public level, at local school districts and so forth, but in the higher ed level. Now, Senator Juan Chuy Hinojosa, whose district goes from here in Corpus Christi, where your headquarters is, all the way down through Alice, Kingsville, not Kingsville, but down through Alice, Valfurious on into McAllen, down to the border. He has a number of bills, a number of items where he's trying to take care of the healthcare needs of the constituents in this region, in that particular district. Not only healthcare-wise, but jobs, because anytime there's hundreds of millions and billions of dollars in healthcare, they employ people, and those people have jobs. They spend it at Stripe stores and Walmarts and other places around the community. How important is, the first one I guess would be expansion of Medicaid to the constituents of Senator Hinojosa and your customer base in his particular district?
Well, I think access to health care is of vital importance to the people of South Texas. We have a growing economy, but we're comprised predominantly of folks that are making incomes that are modest. And we can use access to the federal government funding that most of the rest of the United States is opting to take advantage of. But our low-income base, we need it more. And I very much support Senator Hinojosa's efforts and that of other legislators trying to work to get South Texas its fair share of our taxes that we're sending up to Washington. We might as well get them back.
Absolutely.
And improve access to health care.
How important is $1.5 billion? $1.5 billion for Cameron County, Brownsville, Harlingen, the island, Hidalgo County, Weslaco, McAllen hospitals in that region, Edinburgh, and up to Webb County and Laredo, $1.5 billion just for taking the Medicaid expansion dollars.
Well, it's obviously a very significant amount, and it's huge. It's a huge headline number, but I don't profess to be expert on the exact math, but
sure.
I know that folks are concerned about their health care, hesitant to go to the doctor or not going to the doctor when they need to, and we I think need to take all reasonable steps we can to improve that access to health care. In the Valley, we do not have a county hospital system like exists in other large metropolitan areas within the state of Texas. And not having that county hospital, my understanding is that it disadvantages the Rio Grande Valley in getting its fair share of state funds to provide for health care.
$540 million, matter of fact, under the Senator Hinojosa bill, which would enable the share of 8% of the county governments for indigent care, and let that be leveraged to get $540 million that otherwise is going to be lost and remain in the federal treasury rather than coming down and giving health care and giving jobs.
Yeah. As a business person, obviously we're very keenly aware of the need to keep costs for business down, and we aren't looking to pay more taxes or raise taxes, but to the extent that the United States is collecting these taxes, we feel strongly in trying to get that funding back into our own communities. We're sending Washington and Austin the money. we ought to try and get our share back here in South Texas.
Well, according to Senator Hinojosa, additionally, if this particular federal dollar is not brought back to the region to provide the care and give us the jobs that would be commensurate to those dollars, then the taxes on your 562 Stripe stores can go up, because that burden going to go back to the local governmental entities. To the political side, let's go to Senator Hinojosa and what they said about this legislation. Chairman Hinojosa, tell us the importance of your bill.
Well, for one, we have a large population of people who are uninsured. They receive indigent health care from hospitals.
You're talking about the three Valley counties.
I'm talking about Cameron, Hidalgo, and Webb County. And there's no way that we can draw down matching funds from the federal government to help us pay for the care of indigent people. And more important, we don't have a hospital district as compared to other parts of the state where they have a hospital district to use those local monies to bring down matching funds from the federal government. It's called 1115 waiver. That's the technical term. So for us, we're looking at a way for us to have local control and provide for a local solution and an innovative way to allow the hospitals to create a district which is composed of the county commissioner's court in each of the three counties. And then the hospitals will impose a fee and or a tax on themselves, not on the patients, but on themselves. Then they will use this money to be able to use that to match federal funds, to bring a 60-40 match and bring additional money and funds to the Valley.
And so the strategy and the way the statutes and the bill that you put together, along with Bobby Guerra on the House side, is to use the 8% that is required out of the county government every year out of their budget to go for indigent care, using that as a match to get these federal funds reallocated rather than being lost. Yes?
That's correct. And the beauty of the situation, it's a win-win for the three counties, for the hospitals, and for the people of South Texas. And the reason for that is that the fee dash tax that the hospitals impose on themselves will be returned to them, refunded to them, plus the matching funds from the federal government. But the matching funds will not be available unless we set up a local mechanism of which to draw those funds down.
You're getting a lot of praise and comments on the part of Senator Nickel and other members of your committee on this being such a unique way to accomplish the objective, and he's interested, of course, because he serves on hospital boards in his area. What does this mean to the viewers watching the program in the Rio Grande Valley? And secondly, how would it have any impact, if at all, in the northern part of your district in Corpus Christi to the viewers there?
Corpus Christi has a hospital district in place to fund indigent health care. But for us in the Valley and the border area, we have to be innovative. We have to be creative in trying to find ways to solve and address some of the local problems. We cannot expect help from the state or other parts of the state. And we can serve as a model. And if this model works, other parts of the state that do not have hospital districts can then use similar mechanism to draw down funds.
Now, one of the most key elements of what Senator Hinojosa is saying is the fact that these dollars are significantly important to this region because it's a younger community. Average age in the region where most of your stores are is 28, where north of I-10 to the Red River is maybe 38. We're older in the northern half of the state than we are in the southern half, and therefore some legislators don't understand the difference.
To get these many hundreds of thousands of young people that are moving into the system, if we can get them graduated from high school and hopefully graduated from college, but certainly achieve education above and beyond the high school level.
Well, Governor Perry himself says the new oil of Texas today is our people capital. And if there is people capital as significant as our governor says it is, then obviously South Texas is the biggest oil well for people capital that we have, other than Eagle Ford Shale and real oil, because we have these people that everybody wants to hire with the billboards, please come to Aldine and teach school up there, bicultural, bilingual, and all the other things. And so that's a good thing, because they're going to go ultimately on the northern half of the state and provide health care, EMT, all the things that are necessary to the older side when they're in retirement and going to an old folks home. Somebody take care of them.
Now, there was a great article in today's paper around demographics around the world, and how certain countries who have been able to invest in education have experienced economic booms when they have a surging young population, but countries like Japan, like Western Europe, and parts of the United States are extremely challenged because they have a flat or shrinking population and a rapidly aging population. This is our window of opportunity, in my opinion, the next 20 years to educate this demographic boom of young people that is working its way through the system and can cement and build a really bright future for our state.
Let's talk about jobs, because that's an exciting conversation to have here in South Texas. 20 counties of South Texas, poor counties, ag counties, that were basically just really struggling not too many months ago. Now, currently, 2011, we had 27,000 jobs in Eagle Ford Shale, oil and gas production development. In 1 year, 27,000 in 2012, last year, 100,000 plus jobs in 1 year. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I think what's really going to be impactful, Ron, is going to be the downstream effect of the new massive amounts of low-cost energy being unlocked by new technology in the Permian Basin, in the Cline, and in the Eagle Ford, where as an economy, very big, substantial companies are laying the pipelines and the infrastructure to connect this crude oil and natural gas and the liquids in between to the Gulf Coast. And we are going to see, from projects that have been announced over the last couple of years, billions and billions and billions of dollars of construction along the Gulf Coast in chemical plants, refinery expansion, steel pipe plants, a steel plant, many other industrial users. And I think that job growth from construction and all the associated jobs will really help drive the economy forward in the coming years. So I think the big wins from the Eagle Ford have not yet been realized. I think that we'll see that as the United States, and in particular the Gulf Coast, goes to this period of reindustrialization, taking advantage of this low-cost fuel that technology is making available.
Well, too many years ago, every presidential election cycle, we talk about the fact that our security as a nation is in jeopardy because we're buying so much fuel from overseas, from the Far East and Middle East and so forth. And all of a sudden now, Corpus Christi, the port of Corpus Christi, has gone from an importing port to an exporting port. That's what we've been talking about. Gosh, we need to have that. And suddenly, the port of Corpus Christi is an exporting port, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, I do see great opportunities for the Port of Corpus Christi, but also the Port of Houston and the Port of Brownsville. And not all of it energy related. With the widening of the Panama Canal, we're set to see trade from Asia explode here into Texas. I think it'll impact our rail systems. I think it's going to increase our need for highways and infrastructure. But there's a lot of opportunity in the years ahead. I'm very optimistic.
Now, Senator Eddie Lucio has a guest worker bill, which is also the kind of bill that they have in the state of Utah. They have passed it there. Requires federal concurrence. We've talked to Senator Cornyn about that, and Congressman Vela in Raymondville recently about the fact that this bill is currently working its way through the legislative process in Austin. Senator Hinojosa thinks it's a great idea. Senator Hinojosa in particular was a young man at 5 who was deported to Mexico with his mother. So he's been there and done that. Understands the impact it can have on a family. So a state guest worker bill that would have federal concurrence would kind of be go back to the Bracero time. We could bring people in, have them do jobs that U.S. citizens are not willing to do, and they go back home, in this case, Mexico. Would that be a positive thing for South Texas? Eagle Ford Shale, high demand for jobs. The drilling is really beginning to decline because they can't fill the jobs. You're being impacted on in Stripes.
In our view, employment is constrained in our part of the state. We don't have enough folks willing to do the work. And if we can figure out a way to increase immigration, we'd be strongly in favor of that. Appreciate the priority that Senator Cornyn and others have on maintaining homeland security and securing our borders, and know that's very, very important to all of us. But we need folks willing to do the work, and not just at Stripes, but really across the economy. We could open up more stores and create more jobs if we just had access to folks that were willing to do the work and take the training and deliver on our promise of fast, fun, friendly, and delicious.
Now, what has been the impact in a negative sense from the voracious job appetite that the Eagle Ford Shale oil field production has had? What's been the impact on your training, on your recruitment?
Well, we're having to redouble our efforts to try to treat people right. Clearly, there's been some positive change in wages, which is something that we're really pleased to see. We also, though, are having to take some extraordinary lengths at certain locations and provide unorthodox transportation, bus people in from one community to the next to meet certain supply shortages. But it's a challenging to staff up, and bottom line, we haven't been able to open stores as fast as we would like because we're not growing the people as quickly as we would like. This past year, we added 800 jobs to the company. We hope to be able to add 1,000 net new jobs in the year that we're in. And it's very challenging to recruit and retain at that pace for our medium-sized business.
But you're competing with an oil company that's willing to pay $75,000 for a truck driver. So you're competing with that because the people that you're going to be wanting to work in your store, they could also go to work for an oil company and make $75,000 driving a truck.
Great thing about America, great thing about capitalism is that folks get up every day and they get the chance to vote with their feet. And hopefully we're creating an environment with training and benefits and opportunity and the way we treat folks that they decide to vote with us and continue working with our company. But competition is a good thing. It only makes us work harder, raise the bar, and we're competing out there for customers every day, but also for the best people.
Now, your HR people told us at least of one indication of what was going on. It wasn't that you at Stripes lost people directly to Eagle Ford Shale and oil companies, but in this particular case, most of the food service people at a jail in Beeville went to work for Eagle Ford Shale, and they came to the Stripes and took all your people to fill those jobs. And so that's kind of the thing that you're dealing with.
Well, when there's demand for people in the economy, it has this direct and indirect pressures. And listen, overall, we're grateful for the challenge of having an economy where folks are in high demand. It's a challenge for us to deal with it. We need to work harder and smarter, but we'd much rather be in an environment where attracting people is a challenge because the customers are there with jobs and employment than the reverse. We've been around long enough to know what it feels like when the economy, local economy, is in decline, and that's obviously not a lot of fun.
Like you have had some situations, so has the county judge in your home county, here in Nueces County, with people working for the county one day, and the next day they decide they're going to go to work for Eagle Ford Shale and make a little bit more money. You're having problems? Oil companies coming down, having town hall meetings, job fairs. Sullivan Ortiz Center, and they're going to San Antonio. One company told me they have 11 drilling operations that are not able to operate one company, because they don't have people to fill those jobs. So that again puts additional necessity on the part of our legislators to take a real good look at this bill filed by Senator Eddie Lucio to have a guest worker program operated by the governor's staff, by the executive of our state, and by a commission to be created by the bill to operate in conjunction with a Mexican state and bring in those people from Mexico to do specific jobs. Sound like a good bill to me.
Well, I'm not familiar with the
Logistics,
mechanics
not all
and the specifics
But
of
anything to fill those jobs.
anything that helps us bring folks that want to do the work for the many employers that we have. That's a good thing, and certainly appreciate the importance of knowing who's working in this country and having good identification and records.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that our country has boomed during periods of history when immigration waves have occurred here, and I think that opportunity exists today.
Unification of the University of Texas system in the Rio Grande Valley. You're an UT grad, and something you're really passionate about. The capability now in this session of putting these two universities together is one, having one soccer team, having a unified valley, what a wonderful thing, and funded by the Permanent University Fund of the state of Texas. UT Pan Am has not had a new building in 12 years.
Despite that explosive growth in enrollment.
Exactly. All of a sudden, this university in Center Hinojosa District is going to have access to the PUF money and can start building things and doing something. Isn't that hopeful? I mean, it hasn't been passed yet. We still have two bills. We have a House bill and a Senate bill, and it's still laying there, and that's scaring some people. Are you concerned about it not getting done? Just get it done.
I think there's very widespread support across both parties in both the House and the Senate, and I'm very optimistic that with the strong leadership of Senator Hinojosa and Senator Lucio and
Renee Olivera in the
that's
House.
right, and our delegation here in South Texas,
Sure.
I think we're going to see this done, and it's going to be a big positive for us.
10,000 jobs at 65,000 a job. Unbelievable.
Every job is special, and not to, I certainly don't want to be a whiner or a complainer, but South Texas has not had its fair share of funding from Austin with respect to higher education. And it's darn well time that Austin recognize how much growth and how much need exists here in South Texas, and give us a fair shake with respect to resources so we have an opportunity to educate our citizens here at home.
You know what, Sam? I have found in the years I've been interviewing governors and lieutenant governors, speakers, U.S. senators, and so forth, it's not that they want to keep the border down, it's just they don't understand it. It's a lack of education. They don't conceive it. They don't understand it, and that's an educational process that relies on us.
Well, there's a big demographic trend in Texas and around the United States for population centers and major metropolitan areas to grow, and in the rural areas in mid-sized towns, population trends are flat. Also, college graduates are congregating in mass in these bigger metropolitan areas. And we've got to fight like crazy down here in South Texas to keep our voice in the political conversation, to keep the awareness up so that we're not forgotten. And we want to have top-of-mind awareness in the state and federal level with respect to the huge surge of talented young people that are growing up here in South Texas, and we want them to have their opportunity to live the American dream.
Thank you for joining us here on Ron Whitlock Reports. Thank you, Sam L. Susser, President of Stripes, for hosting us here at your headquarters in Corpus Christi. You're lucky because you have all three South Texas senators that serve you. You have Senator Lucio who comes up to the city limits of Corpus Christi. You have Senator Hinojosa comes from McAllen all the way down to the Bayfront. You have Senator Zaffirini, comes all the way through San Patricio County. So you have all three senators that you can talk to because you have all three of them concentrated right here in your region. And that's got to be a benefit for you.
I think, I don't know for me personally, but South Texas benefits from having strong, experienced veteran lawmakers.
Oh.
You mentioned our three South Texas senators who are
Phenomenal.
very, very experienced. We also have Todd Hunter, chairman of the Calendars Committee, which is an extremely powerful position,
Yeah.
and a number of other state representatives that I think are doing a terrific job for us, and I'm glad for their partnership.
I agree with you. Go anytime to ronwhitlockreport.com 24/7 to watch this program and others. Till next time, adios.